Monica. My name is Chitra Chandrashekhar. Hi to all the teachers who are going to be learning from this video. So I work as a visual story designer, and I also am an educator, creative design educator, and independent researcher and writer. So I've been practicing visual story designing from 2011, and it's been about 11 years into practice. So it's a professional practice, not so much of a business venture, but through the professional practice, I've been able to apply visual storytelling through illustrations, through live drawing, and through story-based performances. So that's how I've been able to grow. Uh, and another area that is closely connected. So I'm also more of what you can call as a teaching artist. So I love to also teach what I practice and take back, and so make it very interactive between the practice and the teaching. So my classroom interactions are very practice oriented and hands-on as far as possible. Even if it's a theoretical concept, I try to bring in some activity through which you can understand the concept. So I lay more weightage on understanding by doing something rather than sitting and listening to a lecture. Where I teach, I've been teaching in since 2013 in design schools in Delhi and in NCR and other places in India. At the moment, I am situated in Chennai, and I teach in a design school or a department within an engineering college called Triple ITDM Kanchipuram. It's in Chennai, in the suburbs of Chennai. So what is exciting to me about teaching visual communication is it's just so many options you get to teach and learn. So there are different media. So you have drawing, sketching, illustration, illustration by hand or on digital medium. You have photography, filmmaking, animation. You have exhibitions, books. So there's just a whole lot of field, that open field for anyone to learn and grow and specialize in each one of these. So yeah, my background, I didn't start with that. I studied architecture in my undergraduation, and I worked for a brief while at a development project of the Terminal 3 New Delhi Airport. And after which I went on to pursue my master's in visual communication design, which is now renamed as communication design at School of IDC, IIT Bombay, IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay. And what I've actually taken from IDC is the approach in master's education, how you learn how to learn. So it can be, so when you graduate from master's, you could come across any new subject or topic, but you know that you can find your way around. Even if it's not familiar, you can learn through it, which is what was exciting, because if you learn how to learn, then I wanted to apply that in the context of education. So can learning how to learn be shared with students? So that's how I started my journey as a teacher, as an educator. How important is it to document? So yes, documentation is part and parcel of capturing the process itself. Uh, I think I also inherited that habit through my design education, where every stage we try to capture the evolution of a project. So documentation by photography, documentation by making notes or sketch notes or quick visual notes, documentation by video, interviews, questionnaires. All of these are options and possibilities. But mostly the process is, for me, I think photography has a very big role, because it's a, in one shot you can see how a project has evolved or a design has evolved. In the context of teaching, I love to capture uh, some of the elements which are very subtle. Like I can describe them in words, but when somebody sees the video or sees the photograph, they'll have a more authentic evidence of how the teaching experience has been, how the classroom engagement has been. So, how the students are seated or how they are interacting, whether their attention is intent or whether they are distracted. Uh, so, I like to capture how, when they're, especially when they're given a task, how engrossed are they in that activity. So these are things that I like to capture. Sometimes I also I mean, I kind of actually look at the classroom as a learning lab where I'm also equally learning. I'm learning how certain methodologies work or fail. So I like to introduce, say, some playful activities, some experimental projects. So when I introduce it, I capture it in different stages. What was the situation when people started the module? How were they when they were ending the module? Like, so has there been any growth? I capture students' results apart from student behavior. Uh, so through the portfolio that they submit or present or display. So some of these things I like, or even presentations they are making in class. Is it like a team activity, and how involved are everyone? So I try to capture these little points here and there. So it helps me understand whether the classroom has been engaging over and above the student feedback that is also formally taken. So yes, as a teacher, it helps also in teaching and pedagogy. Your research that happens in the classroom is also referred to as action research. So even to perform that, you can gather evidence if you have documented these subtle things which you can write about in reflection. But it's best if you have an evidence also. So it's a good practice to, and with mobile phones, it's probably easy. There's only one caveat I want to kind of add is when we capture these images, whether we have consent to capture these or publish this. So we may be able to capture it and it may be fine. But if we are about to publish that research somewhere, do we have the consent for that? Is there, should we be mindful about whose consent? So would it be all of the participants' consent? Would it also be the school or the institute's consent? Or if it is assumed that this is what you have created and collected, is there a possibility that it is made like a Creative Commons license? So it's something that people can look at and probably share or exchange, but we're also mindful about maybe blurring out the faces and maintaining privacy or confidentiality of the students or the participants in the classroom, so that it kind of doesn't bother or harm them anytime in future. Because while we are doing research, we're also careful about not infringing people's privacy.